Welcome to Animal Control Issues. I'm your host, Emmanuel Maciel. No, I'm not at the Sahara Desert. I'm here at Bedford Park with the circus. And one of the reasons we're here is just checking out the animals, making sure that they're all doing fine. We had an issue with one of the animals' feet, and the animal is being cared for, and everything is doing really well. And we also, at the same time, we got an opportunity to work with South Coast Equine Center on floating the teeth. Basically, it's a dentistry way of taking care of the horse's teeth. So on this episode of Animal Control Issues, we're going to work with South Coast Equine and show you, for me, I think it's a gem of a show because I've never seen it being done, and I'm pretty sure our folks at home have never seen it done. But so come along and let's take a look and see how horses' teeth get cleaned.
So I'm just doing a complete oral exam. I'm going to take care of Mr. Jackson's mouth. And I'm going to do the exact same exam that a human would get when they get their teeth done. So I'm going to go grab a dental mirror, make sure we don't have any cavities or any sharp points. Horses' mouths are designed with their jaw slightly narrower on the bottom than the top so that they can grind and chew side to side. And so what happens is on the inside of their mouth, they develop little points on the inside on their lower jaw, and on the upper jaw they develop points. And that's because their teeth are designed to grow throughout their entire life to keep them grinding. And he definitely has some sharp enamel points. Right up in here on the outside you can see where the points are digging into his cheek a little bit, and he's actually got some food hanging out in the back there. So I think this float's going to make him feel a whole lot better. So pretty much, traditionally we used to use hand floats to take their teeth down, but we use power floats, some power tools, to help make it grind. This is just going to help us grind the points down a little bit faster and better. Okay, my friend.
You learned this like the old way, or is this?
I learned it both the old way and the new way. So we transitioned about 20 years ago to having these tools. And it's made a huge difference in horse welfare and longevity. Before, when we only had the hand floats and no sedation, horses were living to 15, 20 years old. And now, the average lifespan is 25, 35 sometimes. Because the big thing was they used to lose their teeth and be able to chew because we couldn't get in there to adjust every tooth perfectly to make a perfect chewing surface. And they would just lose weight and their teeth would die. So it's one of the biggest things that I think has made a difference in horse welfare in the past 20, 25 years.
So something like this would make the horse live longer then?
Yep, live longer, healthier, and heavier, which is what we're aiming for with Jackson here. Yep, okay. Here we go a little bit more. Yep. Easy, sir. Okay, I'm going to do a focused rinse. So Jackson has some feed pocketing in there where one of his teeth is a little misaligned and it's allowing hay to get stuck up in there. So I'm just going to get up in there and try to rinse it out and help him. I need the light for this though. Thank you, Amy. Get it in there and rinse it out and try to get that feed pocketing out. So.
Is that because of the tooth?
Yeah, the tooth, just because they grow constantly as they age. Yeah. So you can see all this feed and you can smell it, how stinky it is because it's gotten stuck up in there. Just as they age, their teeth sometimes move around based on how their chewing and wear patterns go. And he does have a pretty good hole in this tooth called the diastema, so he's got a big gap where I can actually fit my finger up into his tooth. And it doesn't feel very good because he's got some gingivitis and inflammation in there, which is why he's reacting when I touch it. Okay, let's see if we can get that spot opened up a little bit so food doesn't get stuck up in there anymore. So now I'm just taking a feel to see if all of his sharp enamel points are down. I know, buddy. Every time I go over to that hole, I think he's got some pretty inflamed gums in that spot. But he's already on antibiotics, so that'll help a whole lot with getting that inflammation down. Perfect. Okay, just a few more adjustments and we'll be done, Mr. Jackson. In that spot where he has a gap in his tooth, there is a small fragment of broken tooth that I'm going to try and pull out. It's moving a little bit, and I think it's what's causing him to not chew very well because it's pretty uncomfortable up in there. So, pretty common. He's already on antibiotics, but he might need some pain meds, some butyrbandamine for a couple days afterwards. So, see if we can get that on out because I think that's what's causing the majority of his mouth discomfort. And as you can imagine, a broken tooth doesn't feel very good to chew on. Okay. I need to get hemostats out of my truck, so we're going to close his jaw and give him a break.
1 to 2 inches.
Okay, we ready to open up again? 1, 2, 3. I know, Mr. Jackson, you're being a very good boy. Easy, sir. Easy. I know, it feels funny. That's okay.
Now, if a horse wanted to fight you opening your mouth, could they?
Oh yeah, their jaw muscle is hinged all the way back there, so that he could absolutely, if he wanted to fight me about this. Okay, my friend. He's such a gentle, because he's an intact male stallion, and stallions have a reputation for being quite rude and ruly. But as you can see, when you have a good horse and good care, they can have a good heart. Okay, Amy, don't let him throw his head right now because I've got both hands.
Good boy, Jackson. Good boy.
He has a fragment of tooth that's floating around and it's connected by just one little teeny tiny piece, and so I'm using my fingers to try and what we call elevate the fragment. So I'm trying to get his fragment out where I can grab it and pull it. But normally I have a tool that's about 1.5 feet long that I can get back in there and visualize what I'm doing rather than blindly grabbing and feeling like I'm doing right now, which is just making the entire procedure, because the tooth is literally going like this. There's just one little tiny fractured slab, and if I had my tool, it'd be out in 30 seconds.
Good boy.
There's our tooth fracture fragment. It's all dirty and covered with feed material. Okay, close his mouth out. So that's the bad piece of tooth that was in there rotting. I don't know if anybody can smell it, but it does not smell very pretty. So, so you can see now that it's rinsed off, this is his chewing surface. This is where he would normally chew, and he bit on something hard and it fractured up into the top part of his tooth. So that little thing was sticking into his cheek and causing some discomfort and also causing a lot of food to get stuck up in there. So he now has a little gap in his mouth, in between his molars in the back on his upper left side. So it's going to be really important to keep on getting his teeth done about once a year or so, or any time that he's having problems chewing. But this is probably the entire reason why he's underweight. This little teeny tiny piece of tooth makes a huge difference in these big animals. So I think we got him good. I'm giving him a break. I'm going to file around where I just pulled this tooth out to make sure there's nothing sharp in there, and then we'll be done. And he'll get some good pain meds and some antibiotics to help that heal up.
How long have you been doing this?
I have been a veterinarian for 6 years.
And
Yeah.
it's like, it's all by feel? Wait.
You might have noticed I knelt down and I looked a lot to see the actual chewing surfaces, but I also feel, because the horse's teeth should be straight. When they're chewing, it's supposed to go in this figure-8 pattern to really grind the teeth. If they can't chew and grind all of the feed down and break down the cell walls of the plants, they can't digest it on the other end. So the fact that he was probably chewing and swallowing whatever he could without chewing 100% of the way is probably why he was having some trouble with everything that was going on. He just couldn't break down the fiber enough to be able to digest it. So this is going to make him a lot more comfortable to chew, and it's going to help him really increase his ability to eat and put weight on.
It could just be like an oversight situation where,
Well,
something like that tooth there.
yeah, horses are herd animals. They're designed to hide pain until it's really, really severe, because painful, sick horses in the wild get taken out by predators. So their entire mechanism of survival is to hide pain until it's too much to overcome. So he never once gave us an indication that his teeth were that painful or that he had a broken tooth in there. But he was slowly losing weight because he just couldn't chew as well. My job would be a whole lot easier if they could go, "Doc, hurts right here. Can you fix that for me?" But it's part of the fun of the job is that I have to figure out, put the pieces of the puzzle together and figure out exactly what the major problem is. So before our drugs wear off completely, I'm going to do one more file here, and then he'll be good to go. One last spot, my friend. You're being so good. Being so good. Okay. That should be perfect. One last feel. Perfect.
Oh, Jackson.
Yeah, let me rinse his mouth out so you can get a good view. He's got a lot of dental dust in there.
Oh.
Hazard of the job. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Should have warned you.
Clean water, not water from his mouth.
Yes. Here. It's a clean one.
You're loving this.
Job hazards. So here he still has really good chewing surface, but he's now going to be able to grind back and forth really easily. And the last thing we're going to do is check his front teeth, but we'll take the speculum out to do that. I know, bud.
It's okay.
And go from there. Oh boy. Good thing Doc's tall, huh? So the last thing we do is we check their front teeth to make sure they're all well aligned. And here, see this hook comes down here? I'm going to put a gag in and take that down, because when they chew, you want to be able to move those front teeth in a figure eight pattern too. And so when horses are over a certain age and they still have that hook, we like to help them move a little bit. It's very normal for 7 and 9-year-old horses to have that, but he's a little bit past 7 and 9. So we're going to help get that hook down and help his teeth be able to move more regularly. But other than that, his teeth look in very good shape. So this tends to cause a lot of vibrations through their sinuses, so he's probably going to move around a bit for this, especially since he's waking up. And the big thing is heat. The vibrations that I cause and the friction that I cause can cause some serious heat. So you'll notice I only do about 10-15 seconds on each tooth so I don't damage the tooth. This one's a little bit more unpleasant for you, huh, bud? It's okay. Such a good boy. It's okay, I'm just feeling now. He says, I'm done. Let's take the world's largest bit out of my mouth, please. There we go.
There you go.
So now that we've gotten him all adjusted, I just check his jaw to make sure that he's able to, what we call laterally excurse, so move his jaw from side to side. When I do that, I want to watch his teeth, and that's where his molars, yep. So his molars are going to engage right here, and when I push, he opens all the way up at about 2.5 teeth spaces. I want to make sure he does it on the other side as well. Yeah.
That's how they eat. Like that.
That's how they eat, is engaging back and forth like that.
When
So
you have a little hangover, it just
kind of, yep. And if you think about it, when he hangs his head down, his jaw's going to move forward, and so his teeth aren't going to be perfectly aligned, and it's going to get caught on that if we don't have those hooks adjusted. Oh, big guy.
The horses out in the wild, how do they?
They don't. The average life expectancy for a horse in the wild is somewhere between 8 and 15 years. So one of teeth, dental issues, worms, and feet are the 3 things that kill wild horses. And so anytime that you start looking into why domesticated horses have a better life, I go teeth, feet, and worms. We get rid of the worms, we take care of their teeth, make sure their feet are in good shape, and the rest sort of goes naturally. So
we just gave you a couple more years, buddy.
Yep.
Easy.
Good to you. Yeah, I mean, good to the woman.
Yeah. So hopefully that will make a big difference for you, so that you can really.
See, there the vet you come, you have the file, you go,
yeah.
2 minutes, crack, it's done.
Yep.
And then nothing got done.
I just said this morning with my son, I said, I don't understand why you have like a machine, and
Yep.
with the machine.
Yep. And that's,
I just told you that, right, Manny?
Yeah.
I
yeah.
said, I can't believe they don't have a machine that does it. That's why she says I
He's
need
like,
power and stuff.
he says
Yeah.
it looks so painful because they're there with a file, and I'm like, really? I'm like, oh.
Yep.
And she comes out with the
These days
machine.
you
That's
think
the-
Yep.
the
Okay.
difference between professionals and amateurs.
Yeah, well, and it's just a different, it's not even professionals and amateurs. It's just that I focused on teeth and really, really love dentistry because I think it makes a huge difference. And traditionally, we only had the hand files. Now we've got more technology, and it's hard to keep up with all of the changing technology in every medical field, veterinary and human.
Some vets too.
Yeah.
Some of the older vets, they have a certain way of doing things, and they're more
Yeah.
comfortable with the way they were taught and the way,
Yeah.
and that they don't feel that they're getting the same
Yeah.
result
Yeah.
with a new technology, new machine,
Yeah.
and a lot of times they're better at the file than they are with the machine.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you don't want someone who's not comfortable with power tools putting it in your horse's mouth. So, you know, the hand file, absolutely, you can still get a very good float with it, but this just is faster. I'm able to visualize everything, and I'm able to correct a lot faster, which is just not better just for me, but it's also better for Jackson because he doesn't have to be stressed out and worried about what's going on in his mouth. So he's got about a half hour to sober up, and then he'll be good to go for going back to food and everything. So he's free to hang out here. We got some mess to clean up.
I can leave him in here because I want to take to the lamp and sleep really away.
Exactly. We need to wait until he's 100% awake. So if somebody wouldn't mind holding on to him, where's your lead rope? You just need somebody to stand with him so we can clean
Okay.
up. Okay? He's getting sweet feed and beet pulp
That's
right now,
what
right?
We were just going to ask you
Yeah.
right now.
Equine Senior is very highly digestible pellets, so instead of the sweet feed, it's a little bit more expensive, but I think you're going to find it puts weight on him a whole lot better. How many pounds of sweet feed is he getting per day, or how
I
many
give
big
him
scoops?
a bucket,
Uh-huh.
you know, halfway,
Okay.
and every day.
One time, two times?
One time a day.
Okay. If you do, you want to switch gradually over the next couple of weeks. You never want to just change things because that'll make a horse colic really easily. But if you switch from the same amount of sweet feed to senior, I think you will see that he will put on weight a lot better with the senior. It's probably $2 or $3 a bag more,
Yeah,
but it's much more digestible, and there's not any extra stuff. Like you probably see the oats from the sweet feed on the other side in his manure, right?
Yeah.
With the senior, it's a really sweet pelleted feed that the horses love, and they're able to digest it all, so you're going to get good stuff on the other
I
side
switched it from sweet feet
to senior.
Slowly.
slowly.
Like,
Yeah.
just like
I
go from
mix.
half. If you got half, you go like 3/4 the old stuff, quarter of the other
Yeah,
stuff,
stuff.
and then
Yeah.
go half
Yeah.
and half, then go.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, to.
And what about the beet
Yeah.
pulp? We still keep giving him that? Or?
You can give beet pulp. It's a good fiber source, and so it's a good additional feed. So the big thing with beet pulp is you have to soak it right before you give it.
Yeah.
But if you let it soak too long, then it will grow bacteria and yeast. And the big one that we worry about is botulism. Horses can get botulism from the food fermenting. And so if it sits there for more than a couple hours, really more than an hour or two, it can ferment. So you don't want to do it days ahead. You got to do it the day of, let it soak, and then give it to them. So for some people, that's a little bit of a pain. But the senior feed and good hay and good teeth, you might be able to eliminate the beet pulp. That's something that you can do in addition. But with senior feed and hay, that might be all he needs if he starts putting some weight on. Has he been thin for only a month or two?
No,
or?
since I buy it.
So how long ago?
4 or 5 years already.
Okay. So it's probably going to take several months before he's 100%. I sort of say that it's about half the amount of time that the horse was that thin that it takes. So if he's been thin for 6 months, it's going to take about 3 months to get it back. So it might take a full year for him to really get back to 100%.
Yeah, because I do everything for filling up, you know, and
Yep.
never filling up.
We even
Yeah.
had a vet wanted to castrate him. She said that was a problem.
Yeah.
It can be. Those hormones do need more calories, but most of the time those horses are running around and they're really enthusiastic, and he's a very laid back stallion.
He's lazy.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So for the most part, I don't think you absolutely have to do that. You know, if we've done everything else and he's still not right, sometimes the change in the hormones can make him a little bit fatter. But I think he's thin, but he's not scary thin. I think with some changes in diet and some good care, we can take care of that. So Mr. Jackson is a Clydesdale. And horses that have feathers or long hair on their legs, you know, when they walk it makes that big spray and it's really dramatic. Those hairs very, very frequently when they sweat don't dry out 100%. And what happens is they get moisture underneath there, and that moisture can sit there, and just like when we have wet shoes we can get athlete's foot, it can allow some fungus, some bacteria to grow. It's also a really great breeding ground for mites, which are a type of parasite that can bite and really irritate the skin. So in Jackson's case, one of the things that we do to treat that is we shave the hair off to allow air in to let the skin heal. And then we put topical antibiotics as well as oral antibiotics, topical meaning it goes on his skin and oral meaning it goes by his mouth, along with some anti-inflammatories and some medicated shampoos to help soothe his skin, because his skin is very irritated from all of the inflammation and parasites that are going on under there. And once again, horses are herd animals, so until we looked underneath that skin we had no idea that he was having any trouble. All of that hair just covered it all up. So it's very, very common in draft type horses to get these sort of skin diseases, so it's very important to keep their skin clean and dry, especially after rainy days or baths, to make sure that they're towel dried. I even know a few Clydesdale barns in the area that have hair dryers and will blow out their hair at the end of every day. So whatever we can do to prevent him from getting these inflamed skin in the future, and in a couple weeks he should be healed up and having that hair grow back.
$99 for Tonto. You want to do a drive?
Sure. Where's Tonto? Where's Tonto? Right here.
Yep, so right in
90 what?
99.4.
See, it's the whole thing with like, these big animals. You got to be careful with them because they're so powerful. Even the small ones, they're so powerful. You know, as that gentleman, the way he is right there, they always say never be in that position because you definitely have a straight kick from the horse, but he obviously knows those animals. We're just making sure they're all getting a physical right now by the vet. So we're making sure that the temperatures on their body temps is okay, just like a human being. And you're hearing the 101 and stuff, that's all normal temps. Like a human being is a lot less, but for an animal, 100 to 102 is usually pretty good.
So I took all of their temperatures because we need to make sure they're all happy and healthy. So we can write a health certificate so they can move on to the next place in a round, because you need to make sure that they're all healthy in order for them to...
What is a horse's regular temp?
It's about 99 to 100, so it's a little higher than humans. It could go up to 101, but in there is when you get a little hazy. So,
awesome.
So these guys were all perfect, right on the money, so they're all happy and healthy.
And like a human, obviously a higher temp would consist of possibly an infection somewhere or anything like that.
It could be a whole boatload of things. They could be sick, it could be a parasite, it could be absolutely anything. It's just an indicator that something's not quite right. Exactly, it's just something's not quite right.
And obviously these animals are temperatures normal, so there is no stress that you can see. These animals are very comfortable, very happy where they are.
They're all eating, they're all nice and relaxed and calm, good temperatures, they're all acting completely normal, good weight. So.
Awesome. Talk about a little bit about what you do.
So I'm technically a veterinary assistant. So I'm the one who's like restraining the animals, holding the animals, catching the animals if need be. So I do a lot of the physical stuff and make sure the veterinarian's safe, the owners are safe, the horse is safe.
So you're the one that put into that danger, as we've seen, you're holding a horse and stuff.
So you need to watch the vet and you also need to watch the horse. If the horse you think is going to react, you need to tell the vet to either back up, like get them calm.
Because the vet's counting on you to kind of protect them.
100%. Because if they're, say, with this time they were working in the mouth, she can't see how the horse is reacting, whether it's twitching, whether it has its leg up. So that's where we come in, and we need to be able to recognize those signs and be able to keep everyone safe in that situation.
How long have you been doing this?
This is my first summer here working. I was an intern last summer with them. But I've been around farm animals my whole life. So, yeah, I went to a farm a lot as a kid in Hingham. So.
And you're going through schooling now?
Yep, I'm going to go to my senior year for undergraduate, and then I'm applying to vet school. So that's another 4 years on top of this.
So you've actually, it's a commitment on you in the career.
It's a huge commitment, and you have to really be dedicated because it's a lot of work.
What are you going to do, livestock, or are you going to stay with the small animal
No,
practice?
I definitely want to do livestock. I love horses, I love pigs and cattle, I love all of these guys. So, I mean, and I also like the ambulatory on the road. It's really different than being a stationary, like, small animal vet. And I love going from place to place and seeing everything.
And there's not as many
Not
ambulatory
around
vets in
here.
the area either.
Yeah.
So it's a good practice.
Yeah.
Dana, ask me what day it is. Hump day!
You know, usually the camo is mean because he kick, he bite. But my camo is non-kick, non-bite, very sweet.
You just scared me. I thought you said the camel do that because I was over there with them, messing around with them.
No,
but they're really good.
The best camo you can find. I mean, it's so nice. You know, you can see it. You can touch it. But some it can be very mean.
How long have you had the camels?
Oh, since be like this since
Really?
2 or 3 years.
So they're just so used to just doing the show.
You know, when you get lost, you don't go nowhere. Go maybe over there and come back. It's
well trained, well behaved.
It belongs to the family. You know, it's like a outfit. You know, it's very nice camo. I'm very happy with it.
How old are they, more or less?
This one is 18. This one is 14.
Wow, 18 and 14.
Yeah. It's all female, and he live about 75, 80. Then I go to die before the camo.
Yeah, I was gonna say we all will before the camel.
Yeah.
What do they do at the show? Do they?
You do an act. You do a changer, waltz, go on the pedestal, and do camo height for the
now,
kids.
is it tough to train a camel?
Yeah, very tough.
So
camo is very stubborn, you know. You have to show them and show them and show them.
And then finally they'll do it, and then you just gotta keep going slow.
And when you get the routine, then I can stay a year not do nothing.
And they'll still remember.
I go on the ring, and you remember exactly what you have to do.
Do they do things like a dog will do it for food or
Oh yeah,
that's what they work for?
Exactly. All
Same
the animals you do for reward, you know.
Yep.
Like my dog, you know, you do the thing, but you know you could have the old dog, you know.
Yeah, reward.
Reward, you know. This is how you training.
This call started from just someone that was curious about what was going on. They called. You can call anonymously if you find or if you see anything being done to an animal, or maybe just there's a question of what's going on with this animal, your neighbor's animal, whatever. Anonymous complaints, you can call us at the office, 508-991-6366. And again, if you see something, say something.
Up to 40% of businesses never recover after experiencing a major disaster. Make a plan at ready.gov/business.
I hope you find a home. I hope you find a home. Hey, maybe you'll be picked next. Maybe you'll be picked next. We've been caged together too long. We've been caged together too long. How come nobody ever picks me? Maybe they're looking for somebody different. Pick me. Well, the shelter's closing up for another day. We didn't get picked. I know. Tomorrow. Guaranteed.